So you are well known for being a broadcaster on the national broadcaster. That's UBC now. Before it was UTV. But you actually started TV in Uganda on TV Africa.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
How did you join?
I had a friend of mine. Well, I didn't really know her. No, actually, you know, Crystal. I have like a long story, and most people don't even know it. You know,
Okay.
most people don't even know. They just can't put together that I'm the same person.
Okay.
They just, in every aspect of my life, people think I'm a different person.
Oh, wow.
I was, no, I used to have a talk show.
Okay.
First of all, on Lighthouse Television. Most people don't know this.
On Lighthouse.
But there are people who remember that talk show. It was a one-on-one, really, really nice talk show.
Okay.
And it was from there that a gentleman called me one morning and said, you know what, you have a fantastic voice. So I dabbled in radio for some time. And people never knew I was a radio person who was doing that. So
I didn't know
you
that.
didn't know
No.
that? No. And then after that, a person called me and she said, you know what, we're looking for a continuity announcer. Can you be she? And I said, yeah, sure. And yeah, that's how I got into TV Africa.
And you were there were you there for a long time? I don't think so.
No, I wasn't there for a long time. I was there for around about 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, during that time as well, I was doing a lot of other things. Yeah, it's just that when people see you on television, they think that is it.
Yes,
no.
they think you
because
live, eat, breathe, sleep.
Yeah, it was during that time also I finished my law degree. I mean, lots of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the one thing you've done away from like the television or media or public that is like so passionate for you?
I do a lot of communication. Yeah.
Okay.
I do a lot of that.
Do you have a firm of your own?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do my own. I do my own thing. I'm also setting up a law firm as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do keep myself busy.
Okay.
And
Sounds like it.
I'm also very interested in style and moving the next clothing line. Those kind of things.
Say more. Say more.
I can't say any more. Crystal, I can't say any more. But and also creating local content. But what am I trying to say at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I think you just have to be as multifaceted as possible.
Okay. All right. So what is the biggest challenge for you? Because 11 years is a long time, as you said. National broadcaster can be, especially when at a time where in Uganda you had all this private media that, you know, whether it was radio, then all these news stations, TV stations were licensed and started to, you know, blow up. What for you was the biggest challenge in terms of pushing out content?
Yeah,
and
I think the biggest challenge was people not understanding that a national broadcaster, you can move fast. There's so many aspects that don't allow you to be as dynamic as you possibly can be. If, for example, it's a decision you have to make, there's a lot of bureaucracy that you have to go through. If it's to purchase content, yeah, there are lots of processes, procurement processes that you have to go through. And at the end of the day, the viewer or the person on the street, the Ugandan citizen who you're trying to impress at the end of the day, just doesn't understand. If, for example, other media houses like NBS or like even Smart 24 or like NTV, their response time is so fast.
Yeah.
They just can't understand why, as a national broadcaster, you can't be that fast.
And those are
And it's
the
because of some of the challenges in terms of bureaucracy. It happens not just in Uganda, but in all African national broadcasters. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So in your time there, what would you say is the one thing that you're most proud of? Because personally, as someone who used to watch UTV back in the day, and I see UBC now, I feel like there's been so much growth, and there's so many exciting things happening, and it's been steady growth. And for the longest time, you're communications manager there, public relations, you're the person handling all the crises, pretty much.
Yeah.
So when you look, it's almost like a baby in a way for you. What do you look back and feel most proud of?
I think giving it a human face. I think before people didn't have a face that they could associate with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just, I remember when I first joined, I think it was just like a colossal big thing, and they just couldn't see some human aspect to it.
Okay.
And I think after some time, when I started doing the job, many people would come to me and say, "Oh my God, you're the human, you're the human person of the station."
You're like the
used to-
face.
yeah, I'm like the face, and people used to really, they used to call me and say, "Oh my, we're so sorry if the signal went off, if something happened." They say, "Oh my God, so sorry." So the issue is, I think I'm most proud of, not just the friendships that I made, but most importantly, giving it a human face.
Okay.
Yeah, that people can relate to. Yeah, I think that was very important.
Okay. Now you said like there was this colossal big station, and then
Yeah.
you joined.
Yeah.
Was it scary in the beginning? I mean, I know you like to take on challenges.
Yeah, it was very, very daunting in the beginning. And I remember it was daunting because by the time, it didn't look the way it looks now. It
Yeah.
wasn't like that. It was pretty much dilapidated.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I remember my first office, yeah, was really, really dilapidated. And I checked into work on day one, and I just didn't come back until after a week. The boss had to call me and told me, "Are you going to run all the rest of your life because your office is not swanky?" so yeah, so that's how it started. It was just so daunting. I mean, it just was. when he opened the door and he said, "Hey, this is your," I'm like, "Hey."
You're like, what?
What? Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, I also learned, and you know, there's so many lessons that you learn that you can make something
Out of nothing almost.
out of nothing almost. Yeah. So.
I actually did my internship.
Are you sure?
At university when I was doing mass communication.
Yes.
At Radio Uganda at the
Okay,
time.
yes,
and which
yes.
was pretty much in the same offices.
Yeah.
So I remember also coming in and being like, this is interesting.
Yes, and strangely enough, most national broadcasters, they look the same way. They're almost
But
trapped
it's almost
in
like
time.
the model that was used was
At
kind
that
of just
time,
duplicated.
yes. And it's almost like you're almost trapped in time. But again, you just have, I mean, they're just fantastic experiences. Yeah.
Okay. Was it ever an issue of maybe just prioritizing? You're talking about like funding for decisions to be made. Definitely funding would definitely come into play as well and take some
but
time.
I think it's most important to understand
At that time.
At that time, yeah, I think it's most important. Even now, I think it's most important for people to understand that broadcasting is not cheap.
Yeah.
It's just not cheap.
Yes.
It's really, to get your return on investment, you have to be able to spend the money to get back what is needed in return. And I think funding for the national broadcaster was never a priority. But I happily hope. I mean, in the last 4 or 5 years or so, it's becoming a priority because without media, media sets the pace of the entire society. So if you have your own media as government, you must make sure at the end of the day it's well supported.
Okay. Now you've been in the media space and journalism long enough to see the change with digital media coming in right now. How important is it for any media station right now to be plugged in?
No, I mean, where I work now at Smart 24 Television, our major focus now is adaptation to the fourth industrial revolution. Our ability to make that jump to online and digital. It is very, very important.
Okay.
A good businessman doesn't live for today.
Yeah.
He lives for 5 years from now. And what does that 5 years pretty much look like? In the next 5 years, everything is going to be digital, especially in the media space.
Yes.
Let me just give you a few statistics. By 2050, 4 people out of 10 people will be black people, they'll be African people, and they'll be under the age of 20.
40%?
No, by 2050,
You
70.
said by 2050?
Yeah. When you're walking in the street,
Yeah.
10 people, out of 10 people,
You
you'll
said
have
4.
4 of those will be African, black African, under the age of 20.
Okay.
We are the future. And with youth comes the adaptation to modern technology. So in Africa, I mean, in all the other revolutions, be it the industrial age, be it whatever, the last 3 revolutions before the fourth industrial revolution,
Yes.
I think Africa was left behind.
Yes, it was.
I think now is the time for Africa to know, and to really make strategic moves to be at the forefront of the fourth industrial revolution, because we have everything. We have the resources, we have the manpower, we have the age, we have the youth on our side, and we have the creativity and innovation and innovativeness. Yeah. So at the end of the day, the time is now.
The time is now.
So if you're in a media station that has not adapted or has no in their strategic plan, they have no intention of adapting to modern technology or to the digital media space, you're going to die. Your business is going to close, for sure.
Okay. All right. So you were talking about the time is now for Africa, and especially with your new profession right now, dealing with business. One of the things that we're seeing is we have so many people from other countries coming to Africa, seeing the investment opportunities here and actually making them work. And I'm pretty sure that you get to see that firsthand.
Yes.
Now you have Ugandans who are always, you always have the people who are bitter and complaining and not really doing anything about it. And they're saying, oh, we have investors coming into Uganda, doing this, doing that. What do you see, especially since you said like you're even downtown, you're right there at the hub? What do you see? Are we taking advantage of the opportunities that are there?
I think that's why Smart 24 television was created, was to show people the business solutions within the environment. I think a lot of challenges that Ugandan people have when it comes to business, they're valid. Lots of them are valid. But I think also we don't also see some of the opportunities that are there for us.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes when you have something and it's in abundance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You take it for granted.
You take it for granted. Let me give you an example. For example, in the Western world, which has 4 seasons, you're forced by force, to adapt. That means the whole fashion industry, for example, has to make sure that they have 4 collections in a year to deal with the 4 seasons. But in Africa, I mean, like in Uganda, the sun is out every day.
And when it rains, we're just like,
the water is out every day. Let me tell you, like at my house, there's a tree, a lemon tree, that grows on its own, just like that. There's an avocado that grows on its own, just like that. Yeah. In many places around the world, it's not like that. It's not like that. So what am I trying to say? We need to look at the opportunities that we have.
Okay.
And I also think it's very important for government to find, and I know they're trying to do so, find opportunities for the youth, to get the youth skilled and to get them engaged. And also to demystify this issue of the capital city, to demystify the issue to do with Kampala. Not every business has to be in Kampala.
Yes.
It doesn't. You can have a successful business in Soroti. You can have a successful business in Kanungu. You can have a successful business in Gulu. And at the end of the day, it can provide jobs for people. And people can also help other regions also prosper and grow.
I like that you're saying business solutions and creating jobs, because for the longest time, it was about seeking employment.
Yes.
And again, that's a conversation that we keep having in terms of our education system. Is our education syllabus actually setting up opportunities for people to be job creators? And in your opinion, what do you think? I mean, you came back here, did your university here. What do you think needs to change?
I just think our education system, I think Uganda's had some of the best education systems in Africa. I think we just have to adapt with the changes. Like I told you, we're into the 4th industrial revolution. What in our textbooks prepares the youth for that? Yeah, we just
is it even covered?
Is it even covered? The issue of teaching head, thorax, and abdomen, because I know you studied that. They're long.
I'm going through that with my kids right now.
Yeah, they're long gone. The issue of studying about Milton Keynes and the prairies, it just doesn't work. You know, we just need to, and I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure the education system is working on it.
Quite a few interesting changes.
Yeah. But I think, and it's always very difficult to change education. It's very, very difficult. But I think they're trying to do what is necessary, but also inculcate the modern technologies into our education system would be good. But most importantly, let's focus on skilling.
Okay.
And I think that's one thing. It's not just a Ugandan problem, but an African problem. Many a times, we go to school, yeah, Crystal, you're an A-class student, you're brilliant, you've been given maybe a topic to write. You know how the questions are formulated. The sky is blue, discuss. Yeah, you know, those kind of things. Huh?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're an A-class student, and you could be A-class because your ability to retain information that you've read is very high, and your writing capacity is fantastic. So you'll be able to get an A. However, when you get out in the real world, life is not like that. The chances that you'll get a job that's commensurate to what you did, because there are really very few jobs now, is almost slim.
Yeah.
You're either in two situations. You have to create your own job, or you have to be really good at something. You have to be skilled at something.
True.
Yeah.
True.
We have your producer and director and your camera person. One guy. Yeah. He's busy doing everything to perfection.
Yes.
Yeah. At the end of the day, when you ask him a question, you're not going to ask him, "Hey, did you get an A in biology? Yeah. Did you get a B in
what qualified?
Qualified. Did you? How was physics? No, you're not going to ask
That's
that.
not important.
That's not important.
But
To
the
university.
mindset for parents as well has to change.
The mindset also for a parent has to change.
I know someone who said they wanted to be a carpenter when they were in high school, and the father was like, "I did not send you to school so you can be a carpenter."
Now, and that's now a carpenter can create his own furniture. Yeah, he can create a showroom. I mean, he can have a multi-billion-dollar brand.
He can provide jobs.
He can provide jobs. So I think we have to really, actually, it's not just about education, but how do you make that education work for you? Yeah.
And just change the whole mindset, really.
And change the whole mindset, yeah.
Now, you've been in communication for years, and you're talking about the digital revolution and investing in skills.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges I think you might have even seen is people aren't very effective when it comes to communication. Many times you will see very talented people, or sometimes even highly skilled people, fail when it comes to communication. And this is across the board. It's not only in the professional workspace, it can even be in personal relationships. Learning to be articulate, learning to be clear. Did you ever have any mentorship on that? Did you take some courses to learn effective communication? How important is that, in your opinion?
It's very, very important. And I had a lot of training for that. I had also lots of mentors who mentored me into being able to speak before an audience of over 500 people. I had a lot of I had a speech trainer.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, when I was much younger, I didn't really speak very well. It wasn't a very big issue, but it wasn't something that I thought that I can live off.
Wow.
Yeah. So I actually had someone who helped me with diction, with body language, with stuff like that. I researched exactly, exactly what I would want to look like, what I would want to speak like. Yeah. And now with the advent of social media, with Google, do you know, you can, the best speeches in the world
are right there.
Are right there. You can get a speech by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, speaking to an audience, and you listen to it and listen to everything that he says. The body language and movement. You can get one of Barack Obama, body language, movement. You can get one of Oprah Winfrey, what she says, how she says it. Really now, failure is not an option because everything is available on YouTube. Like your YouTube, you can actually get tutorials about how to dress when you're going to address a particular amount of people, what to say when you're going to address a particular amount of people, the topic you're going to use to address a particular amount of people. So what am I trying to say? Failure is no longer an option.
I like that.
No, it isn't. There's really no difference, yeah, between you who's sitting in the anchor chair, yeah, and Oprah Winfrey. There's no difference really.
It's how you
because
apply yourself.
it's how you apply yourself, and maybe the person lives in a different part of the world, and the person has had different opportunities. But you're both human beings, and you both have the same feelings, and I'm sure you both have the same aspirations if you were the same age.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're all human beings. We're all the same. But if someone has done it before you, that means you can do it too.
Okay.
Yeah.